Yep, we in here. Pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up. Don't be shy, don't be scared. Kansas City Chiefs fans, yeah, I want my apologies. Kansas City Chiefs fans, I want my apologies. All right, we're good there. Sounds good. Cool. All right. So, feeling good, feeling great, feeling good. How are you? Welcome into Timeline T. I am your host, the Sam D, aka Sam D Smith Jr. Oh, they said Mahomes was happy with his contract. They told me that I was reaching. There's no way that, Patrick Mahomes is underpaid. I was just making stuff up. I was just doing media tricks. We might go into the comments of that video and just read some of those. Yeah, I'm feeling that kind of petty today, but we shall see. Oh man. Whether live on a replay, feel free to drop a like. If you haven't subscribed, do subscribe to the channel. We are building, we are growing every single day. Appreciate the support, appreciate the growth, whether live on the replay. Oh man, I really want them Chiefs fans that were talking that talk to pull up. I want all of them that were talking that talk to pull up and come tell me. When I tried to break the story here of how the owner of the Chiefs said Mahomes was underpaid, and they were telling me I was reaching, they were telling me I'm making stuff up, I'm doing media tricks. Where they at now? Where they at? I want to know where they at. I'm looking for them. I'm going to look for them. I want to see them in this chat. I want them same Chiefs fans to keep that same energy that said Mahomes was happy with his contract. Salute to those pulling up. I appreciate it. Appreciate the like on your way in. Always appreciate that. Makes me not have to ask for it later. So thank you. So, all right, let's go ahead and just get right into it. Not setting up nothing. You know why you here. You know why you clicked on it. Let's get right into it. The report. Chiefs are expected to redo Patrick Mahomes' contract to make him the highest paid player in NFL history. It's just courtesy of Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk. Florio says that after talking to people about it, it's expected to happen prior to the beginning of the 2023 season. Then it gives you the numbers that we've been talking about ad nauseum on this stream. Mahomes signed a 10-year, $450 million deal in 2020. After other extensions around the league, he is now ranked 7th in average salary per year at $45 per million. We can even make the numbers even worse if we really count a 3-year cash flow, which is the first 3 years. That's where the bulk of the money, whether it's funny, well, yeah, normally just only funny money contracts. The bulk of the money is usually in the first 3 years. If you go by the first 3 years, and this is probably the biggest reason why his contract is being redone, he ranks 11th now that Lamar got his bag. He ranks 11th in the first 3 years cash flow. He just made it past 3 years. He only got 60 M's over the first 3 years of that 10-year deal. Only 60 M's. Okay? Meanwhile, we got Lamar's going to be walking away with about 150 plus mil. Okay? So again, when the owner of the Chiefs came out and said, yeah, he's underpaid. I mean, he's probably always going to be underpaid. I said, that's hella problematic. That's hella problematic. Pay that man his money. Now look what we get just about over a week later. And that's probably the face that Mahomes has been making every time a new guy gets signed and gets more money than him. This is exactly the face I imagine Patrick Mahomes makes every time Jalen Hurts got the bag, Lamar got the bag, Kyler Murray got the bag, Josh Allen. Even Josh Allen right before him got the bag. Right after him. Right after Mahomes signed this historic landmark 10 years, 450, your man's Josh Allen slides right in behind him, and he's able to get a 6-year deal that has even more guaranteed money than the guy who just signed for 10 years. So again, I don't know who his agent is. I'm not going to speculate, but man's let his client down. But here's the real thing that I want to talk about with this potential deal. If you have the resume of Patrick Mahomes, now 2 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, 2 regular season MVPs, why would you ever go back to a traditional contract? When there was anonymous GMs that said during the Lamar saga that if this was Mahomes, he would get a Deshaun Watson type contract. Well, guess what, Patrick? Let's test that. Ask for fully guaranteed. If anyone can do it, it's you. Should have been you the first time. After Kirk Cousins broke the mold, it should have been you. But you didn't do it. It should have been you, Patrick. But you took the traditional style. Now you have a chance to run it back. You can redo it. You can right the wrong. Set the trend. Be the spearhead change. Mahomes has been out here. He's been trying to be involved in terms of change and so on and so forth. This is how you can do it, Patrick. Don't take another funny money deal. Don't take another back-laden, back prorated contract. Don't do the funny money. You signed away 10 years of your life. Now they want to redo it because they realize literally everybody else after you is just blowing your numbers away. You now have a chance to go get Deshaun Watson type money, and you can even blow his number out the water. You telling me if Mahomes legitimately held firm and said, I'm not signing unless it's 300 fully guaranteed. 350, whatever the number is, and again, the owner, and this is where if his agent is on point, I pull up the receipts. The owner literally said there is no way that we could financially pay him his worth. Then that means no number is too big. No number is too big. If you're on the record saying there's no quantifiable way we can pay this man, that means my number is huge, bruh. My number is, it has to be more than the 450. If you're gonna do funny money, it has to be more than the 450, right? My thing is, that's traditional. You're Patrick fucking Mahomes. You're him. You are Himothy. There's no one near you. You're one, there's no 1A, and there's a big ass gap to where whoever you could say is second. Go get that Deshaun Watson fully guaranteed straight cash, homie. Go get it. But he's let us down before. And it's not just me saying it. I pulled up the clip of Richard Sherman also saying it. There's a real opportunity here. Will Patrick Mahomes take advantage of that opportunity? Y'all tell me in the comments. But go to the chat early. What's good, Thomas? Love your show, content. My Braves looking good, trying to win the East. Okay, yeah, but baseball is quietly happening behind the scenes. So salute. Thank you for tapping in. I heard he getting 50 mil. Go to stay away from his brother. Yeah, I mean, if he gets 50 mil, depends on the years. If he gets 50 mil, I just hope it's fully guaranteed. And yeah, he had to put up 100K just to get the brother out, right? Pat needs a writer contract, just like, yeah, I mean, if only, right? If his agent was slick, he could get that. He could get that. Always be the highest paid. That's what Corey's referencing. The fact that Nick Saban, no matter who the coach is and no matter where they're at in their pedigree, the minute someone else gets a higher deal than him, he automatically gets to renegotiate to get a higher salary. Mahomes has to change the market. Now, DeMaurice Smith and the NFLPA were putting a lot of pressure on Lamar to try to get him to hold firm and try to get that fully guaranteed. And there was a lot of reasons why people were not down to give Lamar fully guaranteed money. What's the reason you're going to give me for Mahomes? If Mahomes walks in there and says, I want fully guaranteed money, what's the pushback from the Chiefs? What more do you want from this man? What more could you possibly want from a guy who's giving you 2 Super Bowls, 2 regular season MVPs, and 2 Super Bowl MVPs? And he's transcending the game. He's arguably the most popular player in the league. He's already the Chiefs franchise player of all time. He is the Kansas City Chiefs. Because at being this good, this young, at that position, it's a stick up. This is supposed to be a stick up. It was supposed to be a stick up the first time. Because when he got that 10-year, $450 million deal, that was right after the first Super Bowl and first regular season MVP and first Super Bowl MVP. Now he did the trifecta again. And he's trying to get him for another stick up. But let it be a real stick up. Not this funny money nonsense. You going to do all this just to get a few more mil than Lamar? That's it? You can't do all this and have the resume you have, and the only thing you're trying to get is just a few more mil than Lamar Jackson. What, he got 185 guaranteed? What, you going to bang him for 190? You going to rip up the contract just so you can get 190? You're him. Who else but you? Deshaun Watson got it. Kirk Cousins got it. Go get it. It's ridiculous, man. Like this is the opportunity. If he tricks this off, and I know Chiefs fans are in their feelings. If he tricks this off, I'm telling you right. Let me go ahead and pull this. I'm telling you right now, it's open season on Mahomes. I'm airing him out. It's open season. Enough is enough. You have the leverage. The owner just said you're underpaid after he gave you $450 million. He gave you damn near $500 million and he says you're underpaid. But you're going to earn that $450 million. Got to be at 36 years old to get that $450 million. Now you can rip that up, rip. New money. Want my money up front and on the back end. Fully guaranteed. I could bail my brother out as many times as I need to because I don't got to wait till 36 to cash out with 50 M's. Average me out $50 million a year over whatever year. 7 years, $350. Let's rip that deal up. Rip up that nonsense deal. Give me 7 years, $350. 7 years, $420. 7 years, $49. Whatever the numbers need to be to make it work, make it work. He's worth it. You really telling me the Hunt family, whose valuation has skyrocketed with Mahomes, isn't worth that? The owner literally admitted it. It's open season on him. I swear to you, on this channel, open season on Mahomes. And I know people are like, well, why do you care so much? I'm like, because I care about people getting their worth. It's really something that probably low-key is probably a passion of mine because I've been underpaid. And I've had to help people who also have been underpaid get their bread. So that's a thing for me. And seeing someone of this age, you can't get that money back. The first 3 years of this current contract, he only got 60 M's. You can never go back and get that back. Kirk Cousins made more money over the last 3 years than Patrick Mahomes did on his. Does that make sense now? Kirk Cousins got 84 M's over the same lifespan. And it might be 35. No, more than that, more than 84. He got more money than Mahomes over the last 3 years. How does that make sense? It showed you how bad this contract was. People got gassed about the number, 450, 10 years. And then they snuck it in. Oh, well, I mean, total guarantees is only $141 million. Well, wait, hold up. God damn, that's a lot of money that he has to wait to get. He's got to wait 10 years to get the other 300 and something million? Yeah. Rip. Nah. Fully guaranteed. Max me out. Thomas Mahomes should have had a better deal in place. And I agree, Thomas. He had all the leverage, man. All the leverage. How can you have the leverage of a Patrick Mahomes and you are able to get outspent, out-earned, off-rip Josh Allen, then Kyler Murray, then Jalen Hurts, now Lamar. And if he doesn't hurry up, maybe Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. Like, all these dudes are coming, and if you don't change the market to change the game, you're going to get stuck. You're going to get stuck. When your own owner says you're underpaid, you're going to get stuck. See what Corey's talking about in the chat. Nick Saban's contract states he has to make $15 higher than the highest paid coach at whatever time. I thought it was $1, but okay, $15, it makes sense. Either way, yeah, he has that automatically built into his contract. So that's kind of where we're at with it, where it's like, I don't think they can do that with a player contract because, you know, college has no real jurisdiction, especially over college salaries. In terms of coaches, college coaches' salaries, but in regards to NFL, it's a little different. But ultimately, there's no way this deal should have happened in the first place. And let me come off the screen here. Let me get my little mouse thing because I like the glowing mouse and y'all seem to pay attention when I put there we go. All right, so this deal should have never happened. This 10-year $450, and we could go ahead and jump into the story itself. Okay, so the details will be interesting and subject to differing interpretations because Mahomes has 9 years left on his current contract. A new money APY in excess of $52 million per year would be obtained simply by tacking 3 years and a penny more than $156 million on the back end of the existing deal. The real question will become the value of the contract from the moment it's signed. Also relevant to the analysis will be the full guarantee at signing and the cash flow in the first 3 years of the revised deal. That's literally what I just explained to y'all, is that those are the things that matters in these contracts. The first 3 years and the total guarantees. And now you're getting it here from a blue check boy. So again, understand this is why you come to Timeline T. You don't got to worry about all the stuff from the blue check boys. And I get right to the shits. And here we have another explanation of it. So in 2020, Mahomes swapped a high APY and a complicated but lucrative guarantee structure for cash flow in the years that were most likely to be affected by the pandemic. Now that those days have come and gone, the cash flow can be boosted in the early years of a revised deal. So ultimately, they're just saying, like, there's no way to really figure out what the real tactic of what he wants is. There's a few ways to go about it, right? And we've been breaking down these contracts here on Spot Track. And we should have Mahomes here. Yep, let's go ahead. Website's always a little slow. Don't mind it. But this is where we're at with it, right? And we've been breaking down this contract. It's almost like I could guarantee you the terms off rip. But, you know, $450 for 10 years. He only got 63 guaranteed at signing, and his total guarantees is 141. And you see where we're at in this contract. We're entering 2023. He's 28 years old. His base salary is $5 million. He gets a couple mil, I believe that's what, for the signing bonus, but the roster bonus. So this is how they structure the contract. They're hiding the money in the roster bonus. So his annual salary is mid. This is below average, $5.5 million. But then you tack on the signing bonus. But again, remember, that's already been paid out with the 63 mil, right? So now we have the 22.4. So now you add it up, that's 29 mil. 29 mil sounds like pretty good money, right? But then when you compare it to a Kirk Cousins who's getting 30 plus, when you compare it to a Josh Allen who's getting around the same amount, like there's a lot of QBs that, like the article said, he's 7th now. 7th. This is a bad contract. I know the numbers blow people away, but this, a 10-year, $450 million contract can be a bad contract, and that's what this was. And that's what I try to preach here on the channel. And, I got called a hater. I got called, someone just trying to hot take. And I'm like, I got no reason to hot take about this. I ain't getting not one penny from this man's contract. I just know how the money works. And this money is funny. It's backloaded to all hell. And yes, it is lucrative. It's lucrative if you want to wait 7, 8, 9 years to get your bread. And I don't know any of us who right now are watching this stream live on a replay that wants to wait so long to get their money. But, tis what it is. But your man's Patrick Mahomes, he needs to go ahead and get this deal done. And it needs to be a Deshaun Watson type deal. Thomas in the chat. Kirk Cousins all that money for average play. And that's the funny thing about it, Thomas. Like that's the part that I don't think people are understanding when I'm like, yo, you have to, I know you can leverage the money to make whatever money you have seem more than what it really is. But here's, who doesn't have to do that? Kirk Cousins. You know who also doesn't have to do that? Deshaun Watson. Because whatever the money is, they get in it. They don't got to wait for it. They don't got to do any of that. They get it, and the check is cut. Mahomes is going to have to wait until, 35, 36 years old to really get the full backload of that contract. That, to me, is hella problematic when he's running around winning MVPs and Super Bowls left and right. That's not a fair return. He's got to get old to get his bread. That's crazy to me. Absolutely crazy to me. The pay structure in this league needs to change, and only a quarterback can do it. And the problem is that it was changed. No one has the balls to follow. That's the problem here. Kirk Cousins changed it. Mahomes dropped the ball the first time around, and everyone followed behind Mahomes. You could blame the league. You could blame the agents. You could blame the NFLPA. Now we have a chance to do it all over again. Run it back. Spin the block, and right or wrong, what will Patrick Mahomes do now? Will he go out there and just, I want more money than Lamar? That's the wrong tactic to have here. You can't go out there and say, well, Lamar's making 52, I want to make 53. That's not going to be it, because then either Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert is going to come right behind you, pause, and make 54. That's the thing I don't think Mahomes is understanding. Once he makes this deal, if he makes it in a traditional contract sense, that deal is going to be beat out by the next dude, no matter what it is. Because he thought he was killing us with this 10-year $450 deal. He thought he was blowing everybody out the water with this 10-year $450 million deal. And Josh Allen came right behind it and went and got more guaranteed money. And that's total guarantee, right? Total guaranteed money. Because those are the linchpins and the benchmarks that matter in these structures. So at some point, he's going to have to figure this out and say, yo, do I really want to just do the traditional? Or do I want to try and get my real worth? I'd rather be, you're going to give me a long-term deal, a 5-year extension, whatever the case may be, then I need that guaranteed. I need that guaranteed. Why do I need to wait? Haven't I given you enough? 2 chips ain't enough. 2 Super Bowl MVPs ain't enough. 2 regular season MVPs ain't enough. Double-digit win seasons, damn near every year. That's not enough to get my money fully guaranteed. While Deshaun Watson had 20-plus cases, 2 ACLs, sat out a year, and he got fully guaranteed. Kirk Cousins been mid his whole NFL career, but he continuously gets fully guaranteed money. I haven't earned it. Bruh. Nah, that's BS. Nah, I feel you, Thomas. It's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. I hope we get something done here. I hope Mahomes, he's older now. I hope, I don't want to insinuate, but maybe his pops can pull up and talk some stuff into him. But I think now is the time. If you're ever going to stick them up at the bank, I think now is the time. It would shift the culture in the NFL. Because it takes someone of his quality, of his ilk, of his pedigree, of his stature to shift the narrative. Fully guaranteed contracts can be a thing. They already are. It's not just the anomaly of Deshaun Watson. There's Kirk Cousins too. And before the Jets trade, it was Aaron Rodgers as well. So it's not like this Deshaun Watson thing. This is unprecedented. It literally was done before and not that long ago prior. So the precedent is there. We can go to the Deshaun Watson contract. Let's see, Deshaun Watson. Yep, still saved. You see how easy this structure is? And by the way, you know, one of the narratives, the lazy narratives about the Deshaun Watson fully guaranteed contract, this is going to break the cap. You can't improve your team when the Browns literally did that this offseason. They moved some money around and freed up about 16 to 19 million in cap space. So, it can't be done. It doesn't have to break your salary cap. They've been active in free agency. They've been trading dudes. Like, they have been able to operate business as usual, even with giving Deshaun Watson this fully guaranteed contract that's supposed to break the system. They have found a way to make it work. What a surprise. Their financial department made it work. What a surprise. The capologists did their job. Shocker. This is a very simple contract. Look at the contract notes. There's literally nothing. There's nothing here. 230 guaranteed. Signing bonus, 2022, 23, 24, 25, 26 salary. 230 million guaranteed. And a little $45 million signing bonus on top. Come on, man. Come on. This is not that difficult. This can happen. This can work. But if you're only worried about what Lamar did, and, you know, respect to Lamar, I think there was a golden opportunity for him to, you know, test the market and make it work. But I understand he's got a family to feed. You know, he feels he still won because he gets to be, for a couple of weeks until this Mahomes thing comes down, he gets to be, you know, the highest paid player in NFL history with no agent and all of that stuff. And that's great. But what happens when Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, and all them guys go get their bag? And this deal is no longer the highest. Like, Jalen Hurts had the title for what, a week? And then Lamar came and spun the block and just upped the numbers by a little bit and beat him. Like, it's a good deal. It's a great deal in the traditional sense. It's not that different than Jalen Hurts' deal. He basically took the Jalen Hurts framework and beat him at a few key areas. Guaranteed at signing, total guaranteed, signing bonus, in average salary. So these four components right here. He made sure to beat him there so he can be the guy for, you know, until Mahomes re-ups, or Burrow or Herbert or even Trevor Lawrence if they want to, you know, scratch out an extra year. I mean, there's something to it where, to me, it's like, yeah, it's a good deal, but it's like a yeah, but type thing. Like, yeah, you did a good job with the contract, but, you know. But ultimately, I think right here, Mahomes, he better get that bag. He better get that bag. All right. Come off the screen here. So there was some basketball last night, and it was some good basketball last night, and it was some good basketball being played. You know, I know the Knicks are now down 3-1 to Miami, but, I mean, that's kind of a foregone conclusion. But the game of the night last night was the one out there at Crypto Arena, a.k.a. Old Staples. And the Lakers go ahead and get it done. And thanks to Lonnie Walker. Lonnie Walker went crazy in the fourth quarter. Lonnie Walker was the star of this game. He went toe-to-toe with Steph. Steph came with 10 points in the fourth quarter. But they had no answer for one Lonnie Walker, who put up a 15-piece, 6 of 9 with 1 3, had a couple of boards and a steal in there as well. Lonnie Walker showed improved last night. And even Austin Reeves, if you watch the bucket that he got, he cooked Steph as well. Like Lonnie Walker, they kept doing pick and rolls to free him up and to make sure that Steph was on him, and Lonnie Walker cooked Steph Curry. And then that's what happens. When your best player is also a defensive liability, then okay, you could go ahead and drop your 30, but we're going to make sure you give up 30 to 40. And that's what happened last night. Your man Steph Curry gave up bucket after bucket after bucket, and especially late in the fourth quarter. Late in that fourth quarter, he gave up a lot. But ultimately, look, I spoke about it yesterday in previewing this game. Klay is done. I know it's a great story when, he flashes and show us some of that old Klay. I know it's always a good thing, but, when it comes right down to it, Klay is a wrap to me. It's over for Klay. And Wiggins, I don't know if Wiggins is still right. He took a lot of time off. We talked about that yesterday. Steve Kerr tried to go in his bag of tricks. Oh, y'all can't even see the full. Hang on. Make sure I can even see the full. There we go. They had Gary Payton. He was inserted into the starting lineup because the JaMychal Green thing didn't work in game 3. So he tried to go small ball again, and even smaller ball, taking out JaMychal Green and putting in Glove Jr. Didn't work. I mean, he was okay, but I mean, in terms of effectiveness, didn't really work. He scored way more than I thought he would, but ultimately did not work. The habitual nut hitter, Draymond Green, damn near gave you a triple single. If it wasn't for that 10th rebound he got late, he would have gave you a triple single. So, I mean, I think the Warriors are cooked. I thought they were going to be cooked in this series, but I think the most important thing is, we got AD to show up. Like I tried to explain to y'all yesterday of how, when it comes to understanding the thing of, he's alternate day or every other day or whatever. It's like, dogs, look, 23 and 15, 3 steals, 2 assists. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. But let me head to the chat. Thomas, may as well get my real net worth. Like that. That's the thing, man. If we're talking about the Patrick and Lamar, yeah, man. Harry Matthews, welcome to the chat, bruh. So in retrospect, Lamar did reset the market. Not really. I mean, if you're talking about Lamar's contract, sure, he set the market in terms of beating the average salary. So if you consider that to be the market, then sure, he reset the market. The question is, how long is he going to hold it? Whereas, Deshaun Watson, he's walking around with all his money right now. He doesn't have to wait 4 or 5 years from now, like how Lamar's going to have to wait. Lamar's going to have to wait 4 or 5 years from now to get his bag. He's going to have to wait till 2027 to really cash out. It's all right here. So, I mean, if you're just happy that he reset the market and he's really not going to see that money until 2027, then okay, sure. I don't know about you, Harry, but I want my bread right now. I don't want to have to wait till 2027. Especially we have to play 5 years of NFL football at the quarterback position to get that money. I'm good. Give me my money right now. So when it comes right down to the Lake Show, I think the Lake Show proven that they are the better team. I think they're going to advance. Austin Reeves with a 20-piece. They didn't even really need D'Lo, but he was, respectable on the floor at least. He was a nuisance, annoying. Vanderbilt did not look good. Not sure what happened there, but, I think ultimately he'll be okay. They need him going forward just for his defense alone. So hopefully I think when it comes to Jared Vanderbilt, they'll figure that out. I think the Lake Show move on. And the real fun part is who they're going to play. Who are they going to play? Because that, to me, will be the game of the night tonight. As much as everyone will be locked in on Sixers and all of that stuff, and that's cool, to me, I'm looking at, what's going to happen in that other game? Because that's where my mind is at. When it comes right down to it, when you're looking at Denver and Phoenix, the Denver played with their food, I think more so in game 4 to game 3. Game 3, I don't think they really had a chance. And then in game 4, that's the one where I think they let get away because Michael Porter Jr., he just did not show up. And they really kind of, at this point, you know what you're going to get from Murray. Jokic, I mean, he gave you a 53 piece in game 4. You can't waste a 53 piece, but the Nuggets found a way to do it. This is the game of the night to me. Phoenix and Denver game 3. And let's see if we could pull up the box score, then get the series summary. Nope, do not want to do the stat head. When you're looking at the pace so far in this series, the pace is even. Almost everything is even when you look at it. Offensive rating, relatively even. Like this series has been really well played and at a high level. But when you're looking at the lack of defense in this series, that's where you have to see and find a problem. Because offensively, I mean, look at, some of these offensive rating numbers. It's ridiculous, right? But the defensive rating, Jokic 116, Murray worse than that, 119. Remember, the high number in defensive rating is not good, okay? It's not good. So you kind of have to see, if this is just all about outscoring the Suns, then you need Michael Porter Jr. to give you way more than what he's giving you. And we looked up his shot chart the other day, and he is way too much on the perimeter for someone that is 6'10" and can do something on the block against a team that is, undersized like the Suns. The Suns are undersized, and he's still not punishing people on the block. There was a couple of times he had Landry Shamet on him, and he still was pulling threes. Can't have that. You cannot have that. When you got Landry Shamet on a switch, you got to punish him. And then if you're the Suns, I asked the question yesterday. I ain't get too much of a response, but what happens when the point fraud comes back? He's supposed to be reevaluated this week. This series looked like it's going to go at least 6, minimum 6, with it being tied up. There's a chance the point fraud could be eligible to come back. What do you do? Because all D Book and KD is doing is just ISO ball. There's no real rhyme or reason to the offense. They're just running ISO ball. So they're just going out here killing, just cooking dudes one-on-one or screen and roll game. It's really not that much of a big, there's no real, there's no crazy, method to what they do. We could look up the shot chart. Let me go real quick to the shot chart. Phoenix, yep. So look at, let's do Book, right? Good Lord, look at a lot of green on this shot chart. That tells you how good he was. Normally it's a good mix of red and green. This shit is all damn near all greens, bruh. So again, if you look at it, let me look at my little telestrator. Suns or Nuggets, I'm not sure yet, Thomas. I'm not sure yet. I would like to see the Nuggets advance, but I think the longer this series goes, the more it favors the Suns, because you still have, I think, the two better players in KD and D-Book. D-Book is now in the top 10 conversation. I mean, to me, he was already there, but to the casuals, now D-Book is in that conversation for real. For real. So when you have two guys that are in the top 10 compared to the Nuggets, where depending on how you feel about Jokic, they may have no guys in the top 10. The longer this series goes, I think that type of talent will always reign supreme. But let me get my telestrator here. Let's see. So again, if you're Book, you're getting screens out here, like out here, right? And then he goes to his spot. He's getting tough shots. They'll set a screen here, right? And then he's either taking a 3. If you do drop coverage, if the defender sags, then he pulls up for the 3. Or if you fight over the screen, then he's able to either drive to hit the midi here or drive to the short, to the elbow here. Like, there's a lot of things he can do with just one pick and roll. And you see him getting into the paint. That's because they're setting screens up top here. And then he's driving all the way and hitting that floater. He tries to get as far as he can before he has to pull up. Okay, so it's either going to be here, or even here. He got the shots, but he missed them. But ultimately, he is taking advantage of the shots and is really taking advantage of the pick and rolls and just making it real easy for himself. Because the midi is there. And that's what I was referencing yesterday is there's a resurgence of the mid-range game because guys are packing in the paint and they're sagging on these pick and rolls and they're allowing you to get the midi off. Because a lot of guys, the midi has become a lost art because everything has become threes, layups, and free throws. So the smart guards, the smart bigs even, are learning to set that screen up top and don't just wait for a little pick and pop action here or whatever. Take the dive, get the rock, and get as far as you can as the defense will allow you, and then pop the midi. So you set the screen here, and then depending, you read the defense, either they're going to trap the ball handler or do a switch. If they do a switch, you can slip the screen and then get to the dive action here where you can catch the rock and then make it happen here in the mid-range. That's what a lot of guys are doing. Let's see if KD has done the same thing. Let's see. Is KD doing that too? KD is doing that too. Look here. Look all this mid-range. Look all this mid-range. This is all pick and roll action and then just reading and reacting. All pick and roll action. Reading and reacting. Or just taking guys one-on-one and just getting to your spot. Right here you can see clearly this is Kevin Durant's spot. Mid-range. Mid-range. This is all KD spots. Okay? And even if we want to go to Jamal Murray, he's another guy taking a lot of tough fadeaways, posting guys up, things of that nature. Oh, he was doing a lot of work in the midi. Look all these middies. If he gets to the middle of the floor, it's curtains. Middle of the floor. So screen and roll, screen and roll, screen and roll, screen and roll, drive as far as you can. Maybe you stop and you post up if you get a switch, and then you go to work. Middies, the return of the mid-range is all right here. These are the three best scorers in these playoffs. And they're all guys that have been attacking the mid-range. This is not a coincidence. This is where the game is at right now. So when you're watching the games tonight, watch for the mid-range. Everyone's going to be sucked into the threes because everyone thinks they're the Warriors. Forget about that. Threes are important if you get hot, if you make them. But more times than not, teams are going to sell out on the three and close out. So now that's where you get the pump fake, you get the hezzies, the dribble handoffs, and then you're able to get into the mid-range and be able to do damage. The mid-range is where we at now. The threes were cute. Now we're all about that mid-range. The middies are back. I'm probably going to do a long-form video coming up soon on that because it's something I've been really paying attention to when I reanalyze these games. Thomas in the chat, AD, as long as he keep doing that, the Lakers should be fine. Yeah, I mean, I do. I think the Lakers are still coming out the West no matter who wins this series between the Nuggets and the Suns. I think they have the depth advantage over the Suns. And I think they have the talent advantage if they play the Nuggets. Because that will be really interesting if they get the Suns. Because if anything has been proven is that their depth is lacking. They're dusting off, TJ Warren, and unfortunately it's not bubble TJ Warren. So that's a thing. I think the Lakers are coming out the West. We will pay attention to that, and we'll see how that goes. Now, as far as the East goes, we got Boston and Philly. Let's get that series summary. Can we tell anything? Oh, the pace is way slower than Nuggets Suns, but that's to be expected. Effective field goal percentage. Interesting. Vastly a bigger margin in their favor. Okay. Points, wow, Philly. 10 point. So the Sixers, now that might be because of the blowout from, what was that, game 2? But the fact that they're scoring 10 less points per game, yet they're tied in the series, kind of wild when you look at it. But let's see if we can figure out the problem. I think the problem with Boston is that Jaylen Brown doesn't get enough shots. I think that's the issue in Boston. But let's see if the numbers agree with that. Let's see. Do I have to minimize that window? Do I have to shrink? Come on. Okay, yeah, there we go. All right, so take my word for it. I'll try to blow it up if I can. So Jaylen Brown's giving you 24 a night, only 5 boards, 5 dimes, a steal. But the issue is he's giving you 37 minutes, and he's shooting 41% from 3, and he's shooting 57% from the floor. It's the fact that he's not getting as many shots as Jason Tatum. Okay? You see that right there. It's a big disparity. 11 more shots. 11 more shots. And you see, it's not necessarily from 3. It's these twos, dog. It's these twos, dog. And when you look at everything else, he's shooting a better field goal percentage. He's shooting better from 3 and the free throw line. But somehow Jason Tatum keeps taking more shots. Someone explain that to me. How is Jason Tatum taking way more shots, shooting a worse percentage from everywhere on the floor than Jaylen Brown? And that's, I think, the main reason why is because they don't have a point guard. Boston does not have a point guard who can fairly distribute the rock. Marcus Smart thinks he's a point guard. He is not. He plays the position. He is labeled as one. He is not a point guard, okay? And until they can figure out a real facilitator, because we know Tatum's not really going to give up the rock like that. He can when he wants to. He can in spurts, but he's not really bred to give up the rock like that. Remember, he has that Mamba mentality in him. That Mamba mentality ain't nothing to do with passing in that Mamba mentality. Okay, the only time Kobe passed it was that lob to Shaq and then that 3 to Artest. That was about it. Let's hit the chat. Thomas D-Book is a dog, for real, no doubt. No doubt. He's a problem. Top 10 in the league now. I don't want to hear no casual. Not even a casual can, no hot taker or whatever can say why D-Book is not top 10 right now. I mean, he's been top 10 to me for a minute. I'm glad the casuals and the blue check boys who are forced to watch basketball this time of the year have finally caught up. Mid-range game is very important, no doubt. Especially, I think, Thomas, over the last 2 seasons, for real, it's really made a resurgence. Like, everyone got into the Warriors hype, like, maybe, definitely the year before Katie. So what was that, 2016? The year they blew 3-1 to maybe about 3, maybe to the bubble, it's all about threes. All about threes. Then, like, the Giannis year, it kind of started to shift to where the mid-range, because everyone was shooting so many threes. So it's making you sell out on the threes. So now you can't take as many threes unless you're the Warriors, who take like 50 threes a night. You can't really take as many threes, or you're not going to get as many open threes as you thought. So now the move is, all right, we got to move a few steps in now, because people are over-committing to the 3. All right, pump fake, hezzy, screen, I'll slip the screen, whatever. We'll make this happen. They do curls, pin downs, whatever. Now for the mid-range, it's not just curls and pin downs for threes. Even they tried to do hammer action last night in the what was that? Lakers Warriors. And the funny part about it is, and this is a little history for y'all, Darvin Ham invented the hammer play. I shit you not. Hang on. The Warriors tried to run a hammer play last night to get Steph open to potentially tie up the game. Darvin Ham literally invented the hammer play. Who called that play on the Warriors? Did they not know the history? And Braun and AD were able to do the little communication thing, and they switched off before the hammer action could happen, and Draymond threw the ball away. The habitual nut hitter, Draymond Green, threw the ball away. How are you going to run the play that the other team's coach literally invented? How are you going to use that play against him to try to, come on, dogs. Come on. Steve Kerr gets a lot of praise, but I don't know who called that hammer action against a dude that literally invented the hammer action. Kind of wild. And I understand hammer action sounds crazy, but just that's what the play's called. So I think if we're looking at Boston, it's the fact that they do not have a point guard. Therefore, Jason Tatum gets to take all the shots when he's shooting worse than Jaylen Brown in every category imaginable. And if you're the Sixers, you need that beard to keep showing up the way he has. Games 1 and 4, you might need that at least one more time to get this to 7. They might need this one more time. They need another beard performance like games 4 or 1 to really make this happen. I mean, those are literally the 2 games they've won in this series. Have been when Harden goes crazy. And he proved he could go crazy even when Embiid is there. And that's important because game 1, it was like, all right, well, he had no Embiid, so he had to go crazy. But no, even with Embiid there, and that might be another story for another day of why he was able to go crazy and Embiid did not. But, this dude is playing on a leg that was supposed to be, ready in 4 to 6 weeks. So we'll cut Embiid a little slack, but the problem is we're always having to cut Embiid a little slack. So we'll take that from there. But I think ultimately the Celtics should win this series. The problem is that the lack of a point guard, unless they're going to make an adjustment. Mazzulla isn't really here for the lineup changes, but I'm starting Brogdon. I'm sorry. I don't know. Like, this Marcus Smart thing is cool. I don't know if you want to bench Derek White to get Malcolm Brogdon in there and maybe go with Smart and Brogdon and really go for defense. The problem is that both of them are small. Like, Brogdon's what, 6'3", 6'4", 6'5". He is not 6'5". Okay, that's a gas. So he's about 6'4". The beard can still get his shot off over the top. So that's why you have Derek White, 6'4". Yo, these heights are a little wacky. Okay, we won't go back to them for height. So the problem is that if you're benching Derek White, he has the size, in theory, despite what Basketball Reference says in terms of his height, to go up against the beard better than Malcolm Brogdon. Why can't Malcolm Brogdon start for the Celtics? I'm really perplexed by that. Extremely perplexed by that. But we'll stay locked in on that, I think, because it's a home game. I think the Celtics take care of business because they've looked really bad the last couple of games. Even in a victory in game 3, I didn't think they played that well. And they damn sure let one trick away. They tricked it off in game 4. So I think they bounce back and take game 5. So I think the Celtics I think both home teams take care of business tonight. I think the Nuggets bounce back, especially after tricking off 2 in a row. And I think the Celtics bounce back after tricking off game 4. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not putting no money on either team to win. I think there's some props if you want to get involved in that. But in terms of going to these games, period, nah. Okay, so I have this other topic. Bubble ball. And the reason why it's called bubble ball is because, remember, there was a huge asterisk on the championship that was won by the Lakers when it came to winning that chip in the bubble against the Miami Heat. And a lot of people, it wasn't really basketball. That was in the bubble. And they had great sight lines, no crowds. That was easy basketball. Not knowing that the next year, all the teams that made it to the 4 teams that made it to the respective conference finals all had horrible years after that. And it was because of their extended stay in the bubble. But nobody wanted to talk about it. So as the years have gone on, that championship has been diminished year by year by year. And even the Heat making that remarkable run to the NBA Finals and even pushing that Lake Show team to 6 games. When it was just Jimmy and a bunch of dudes. Because remember what? Goran Dragic was hurt. And I think wasn't Bam got hurt as well. Like they were missing some key guys, and they were still able to push the Lakers to 6 in the bubble. Now there's some revisionist history about the bubble. Now there's being some props actually being paid to the bubble championship. And I'm just trying to figure out what changed. I have no idea what changed, but the narrative around, because remember, people were like, oh, the Miami Heat, they were a fluke. And now with Jimmy Butler playing the way that he has, going over the top, giving you 50 pieces and, taking a roster that most people would not really choose to want and being able to take them and to beat the 1 seed in the Bucks and now be on the verge of being 1 win away from getting to the conference finals. The Miami Heat, with this more or less the same roster, granted they got Kevin Love and Kyle Lowry and stuff like that, but you still have Duncan Robinson. UD is still on this roster. You still have your core in Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo and even guys like Strus and Gabe Vincent. And who knows, if they keep playing, Tyler Hero can come back. And they might be able to have enough time to be able to get Tyler Hero back. Now, at what state he'll be in terms of physicality and conditioning and all of that remains to be seen. But if they last long enough and it seems like they're definitely getting to the conference finals, Tyler Hero could be back. And as much as we like to laugh at him on the timeline, he's still a legit player and could be a bucket. So now you have this team that's got Jimmy Buckets going crazy, dominating this series. Let's see, what is the average in this series? And it's efficient too. Let's see, series summary. There we go. Oh yeah, let's see if there's anything we could pick up here. Pace, respectable. No real glaring. Turnovers a little bit. Yeah, no real glaring thing. The Knicks are barely averaging 100 points a game. But, that's Tom Thibodeau and his lack of offensive system, more so than anything else. Yeah, Jimmy's averaging 28, 7, and 6. And he's shooting 48% from the floor. He is shooting 17% from 3. But, I mean, you're not really – he's only taken 6 threes through four games. Well, 3 games because he missed one. But through 3 games, he's only taken 6 threes. So you're not really concerned about that. Whereas in the last series against Milwaukee, he was hitting 3s. Like this is a roster, when you look at it on paper, it just doesn't stand out to you. But whether it's Heat culture and all the nonsense that goes along with that, or just a simple fact of they played the Bucks with only Giannis missing a couple of games, and now they're facing a Knicks team that their championship was beating the Cavaliers. And I'm not going to get into the nonsense of, it's too hot in Miami. And, Knicks fans are looking for any reason to explain away why their team is getting out of here as a 5 seed and why an 8 seed is about to knock them out in 5 games. I can't wait for the Knicks to get wiped out at the crib. Can't wait for it. Can't wait. They're doing pep rallies after every win. They're doing hype videos. They're still saying fuck Trae Young. They're still saying, KD, don't you wish you would have came to the Knicks? They're doing all this nonsense. Bing bong is still happening. All of this, and you're about to get run out of town in 5 games by an 8 seed. Don't want to hear from Knicks fans no more. Stop the nonsense. Take your medicine. Take your medicine. Don't tell me, well, we took a step this year. No, you did not. No, you did not. If beating a Cleveland Cavalier team is taking a step, that's a really micro step, if you even want to call it that. Like that to me is whatever. That is not a victory. Thomas, I think Bam did get hurt that series in the bubble. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he got hurt, right, Thomas? I'm pretty sure he did. Pretty sure he did. Because I know they definitely had no Dragic, because they were bitching and moaning about that. Like, oh, we don't got no Goran Dragic. I'm like, you think Goran Dragic would really be the answer against LeBron and AD when they're healthy in a bubble? Come on, dogs. Thomas, Chicago should have never let Jimmy go. Jimmy outgrew Chicago. Jimmy outgrew Chicago. He wanted his own team, and as long as Derek was going to be there, it was never going to be his team. And he finally, and if you look at it, Thomas, he's never really had his team until Miami. He leaves Chicago. He goes to the Timberwolves. We know how that worked out. He thought it was going to be his team. It wasn't. He went to Philly. He wanted it to be his team. Some people on that team wanted it to be his team, but also some people on that team did not want it to be his team. So he had to go. And now he's in Miami, and there is nobody there who was telling him it's not his team. They are all, from the front office down to the janitors, to the ball boys, to the dudes that wipe the sweat up off the court. They are all telling Jimmy, it's your team, dog. And that's why you're getting Jimmy at this peak Jimmy. We're getting peak Jimmy. Thank you for those tapping in, hitting the like button. I appreciate it. Lets people know that y'all enjoying this content. We've been getting into a lot of stuff on this stream today. We just crossed the hour mark, some light. But yeah, if you missed it earlier, if you're tapping in just now, this was the lead story. Patrick Mahomes. Chiefs are expected to redo Patrick Mahomes' contract to make him the highest paid player in NFL history. It's expected to happen prior to the beginning of the next season. Don't forget, they're doing the schedule announced. The schedule will be dropped on Thursday. So we'll see how that goes, maybe on the Friday stream, or maybe we might pull up and do a little Thursday night live stream for the schedule. I'm not sure yet. If you're interested in that, let me know. But to recap, Mahomes signed a 10-year, $450 million deal in 2020. After other extensions around the league, he is now ranked 7th in average salary per year at $45. Now, this is just a small part of the number. Like I mentioned earlier, the big number now with NFL contracts is the fact that the big numbers to beat are total guarantees, which is injury guarantees, and also 3-year cash flow. 3-year cash flow is a thing. And if you look at the 3-year cash flow for Mahomes, it was only 60 plus mil. Whereas if you look at the most recent deal for Lamar Jackson, he got 150 something million over 3 years, over the first 3 years of this deal. He's getting 80 million alone next year. He's getting 80 million alone. Base pay and the signing bonus, 80 M's. So Mahomes' deal has him looking like this. After every contract that comes out, this is the Mahomes face you're getting. Lamar, Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, all of them. Josh Allen, all of them. And if he keeps waiting, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott even got a bag. It's not really in the Mahomes territory, but I mean, all the dudes got paid. Stafford, all the dudes got paid after this dude. And that's why he's 7th now. After breaking the bank with this 10-year, $450 million deal that's really very heavily backloaded. He's got to play a very long time to cash out. So we let off with that. And, to me, it's just a matter of, I tried to tell y'all, that contract was not that great in hindsight. I mean, we try to say it in real time, but $450 million, how could that be a bad contract? Like, okay, you'll see. 10 years? 10 years. And I got to wait 7 years to really get a high average salary? Nah. Not when I know I'm him. Not when I know I'm Patrick Mahomes and I already won a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP and a regular season MVP. Not when I'm that dude. But he signed it, and there we are. So now Mahomes is trying to figure out just what the hell happened, and now he's trying to get his bread back because this face is being made every time someone gets a bag. Every time someone gets a bag, this is the face that's being made. Lamar got what? 185 guaranteed? Total guaranteed? Oh, I got to beat that. I'm sitting around here at 141. Lamar got 185. Jalen got 179. Kyler Murray got 159. Josh Allen got 150. And I done won 2 Super Bowls, 2 MVPs, 2 Super Bowl MVPs. No. Can't do that. Will he get fully guaranteed money? Somebody's got to be smart enough to do it, right? And if not Mahomes, then who? Here's the thing. Lamar, you could nitpick. I wouldn't have nitpicked. We've been battling people on this stream, in the chat, in the comments about Lamar's, merits and all of that stuff. But when it comes right down to it, you can't have a better resume to get fully guaranteed money like Deshaun Watson than Patrick Mahomes. And there's been GMs that have been, not on the record anonymously, of course, but there's been GMs in the league that have said, if Mahomes would have been in Lamar Jackson's shoes, every team would have been lining up to give him fully guaranteed money. Now let's see if the Chiefs can back it up. They already said the man's underpaid. And the owner came out and said, it's going to be hard for us to find a way to pay him what he's worth. They said that. So, Boogie Down is in the chat. Boogie Down was good, man. It's been a minute. Mahomes is mad LJ got that deal. I think he's just mad that everybody got a deal. But for sure, I think Lamar at that point, once you see what Lamar got and what Jalen Hurts got, those are two dudes that Mahomes feels I am definitely better. And throwing Kyler Murray, like those are three dudes I know I'm better than if I'm Patrick Mahomes. Like there's no way those dudes should be making that much more. And again, it's not necessarily making that much more than him long term, but in terms of the averages. The averages is what these guys care about. Even though Lamar got $52 million, right? Lamar's W-2 won't say $52 million because he's not getting $52 million. He's got to wait a few more years. He's got to wait till, I believe, year four of that contract to get to the 51 and change. That's really 52. But when you add all the money, the backload money and then the money up front, it gets to be 52 a year. Same thing with Jalen Hurts. Same thing with Kyler Murray. All these dudes, right? Boogie Down. Mahomes is an idiot for signing that deal 10 years. He signed away 10 years of his life. That's kind of crazy, bro. And again, remember, he did that after the first Super Bowl. After he won the first Super Bowl and the first regular season MVP and his first Super Bowl MVP. He signed away 10 years of his life. Who's that agent? Maybe he should go the Mahomes route. Maybe he should go the Lamar route and not have an agent. Nope, Chief KT. Nope. He was in the comments killing me, saying I was reaching. The Chiefs did fleece him. Mahomes knew the deal he was signing, so let's not act like the Chiefs. The Chiefs did fleece him. Chiefs KT, if this was you, and you were, how old was Mahomes when he signed that deal? Hold on. I'm glad you here. Because I was definitely going to go back in the comments and be like, yo, what's good? Because I don't know if it was you or somebody else that was also Chiefs fan. I was like, Mahomes is happy with his deal. And I was like, are you sure about that? He was 25? No, the extension kicked in 21. So 25, yeah. 25 years old off of a Super Bowl MVP and a regular season MVP. You're going to sign away 10 years of your life? I can't do that, Chiefs KT. And I don't think you would do that. I don't think you would do that if that was you. Mahomes said before last season he knew other QBs. Well, that's fine. That's why he should have stuck him up when it was his turn. That's my thing. He thought he was sticking them up because of the big number of 10 years, $450 million. But what did we, and more importantly, he learn? That nobody cares about this. This ain't the number that matters. The numbers that matter in the NFL are average salary, which to me is kind of whatever because you can't inflate this with funny money. Guarantee that signing bonus money, and total guarantees. These are the numbers that matter. No one cared about that 10-year, $450 million deal. He thought he was killing shit with this deal. And we were like, nah, I'm good, love, enjoy. Josh Allen, right after him, only signed for 6 years. And then everybody else has been 4 or 5 years since then. Mahomes was the only one with the leverage he had off of a Super Bowl MVP, regular season MVP, to sign away 10 years of his life? That's not smart. Come on, Chiefs KT. You know that's not smart. If that was your son, you would not advise your son to do that. If that was your son, your brother, your cousin, your nephew, whatever, you would not advise him to do that. You would not. That's why didn't Mahomes decline the contract? Because his agent. And plus, he's 25 years old. He doesn't feel he's in a position of power to have that leverage. And that's where the agent is supposed to let him know, like, yo, you have the leverage here. You have the power here. That's where that goes. That's where your agent is supposed to be working on your behalf. Hey, maybe we did it. Because again, take this from a player perspective. I'm 25 years old. I'm the next big star in the league. And I'm going to sign away 10 years of my career? What? Why would that benefit the player? I know why the Chiefs did it. That's great business. Why did the player do it? Especially when he had to be 30-something years old to see the bread. Because we can see the contract right here. All the money is tied up in roster bonuses. And then it slowly begins to flip to where the annual salary now becomes the main bread and not the roster bonus. But if you look at this bread, like, he's not getting the real bag until he's in his 30s. And this is in comparison to other guys in the league. Yes, he can get 30-something mil. Kirk Cousins is getting 30-something mil. You're Patrick Mahomes. Why would you ever sign something that would have you on par with Kirk Cousins in anything unless it's fully guaranteed money? Boogie down. Mahomes isn't the brightest bulb in the box. Mahomes punch in the air right now, seeing Lamar Jackson get that deal without an agent. I mean, that's the point to me. It's like, this face says it all. This is the perfect picture. This is the perfect picture of Mahomes when this is definitely him after all these deals were announced. And remember, I try to tell y'all there was some shade that he threw towards Lamar. Again, y'all told me I was reaching. Now Lamar gets his money. Now who's the first one stand up like, I want my money. I want my money redone. I tried to tell y'all Mahomes was throwing some shade at Lamar by bigging up Jalen Hurts. When Jalen Hurts got his bag, Mahomes is out here. But Jalen Hurts, he did his business the right way. He plays the game the right way. I'm like, well, what other quarterback is trying to do business right now and is being chastised for how they play the game? There's only one. It's Lamar Jackson. But, I'm like, oh, you reaching. Patrick Mahomes has always had great things to say about Lamar. Right. I know he didn't say Lamar's name, but let's deduce the facts. He went about his business the right way. Well, then who's not going about their business the right way? Oh, maybe the QB that has him and his mama negotiating a multi-million-dollar extension? Oh, he plays the game the right way. Oh, well, which quarterback has been criticized by analysts, coaches, owners, GMs for not playing the game the right way? Lamar Jackson again. So if you're telling me he wasn't talking about Lamar, who was he talking about? What are the contracts trying to get his money right now? He's talking about Joe Burrow? Justin Herbert? Dak Prescott? Who else was Mahomes talking about? You tell me. You tell me I'm wrong? Okay, who was Mahomes talking about? Maybe he wants to be able to have a team around him. That's Chief. Look, I like the fact that you showed up today. because I was definitely about to spin the block on the convo we had in the comments. But I'm telling you right now, the Browns gave that fully guaranteed money to Deshaun Watson that everyone said, oh, this is going to kill the cap. They restructured the deal. They freed up $19 million in cap space and signed players and made trades. That's just bullshit what they're saying. The owners and GMs and pundits and analysts and experts, whatever you want to call them, they're lying about that talking point. That's not a real talking point. There are capologists in these teams. That's their only job. Here's a salary. Make this work that we can still operate. Because if there truly was a contract where if we sign this dude, we literally can't do nothing for a certain amount of years, no one would offer that contract to a player. When the Browns gave that contract to their financial people and say, can we do this contract and still operate as a functional team? They told them yes. Why? Because you can always move the money around in the NFL. There's fully guaranteed money in all these other sports. Baseball, basketball, hockey, fully guaranteed. And hockey even has a hard cap just like the NFL, yet they're able to move those contracts and that money around and trade players left and right. Only in football do we get people telling us, oh, this is going to be impossible to build a team around. You can't, this is going to kill the cap. And we stupidly believe it. When there's numbers that literally tell us the opposite. When there's clear-cut examples that tell us the opposite. Okay, an LG punching that air with no rings. All right. I mean, hey, look, I don't care about the rings thing. I'm not as I've said, I'm not a Lamar Jackson fan per se. I'm a fan of how he plays, right? So I love how he plays the game, and I was very much a proponent for him getting his money. He got a bag. I still don't think so. Sorry, Boogie Down. I don't think he got the bag, but he got a bag. So salute. But I still think he left some money on the table. Boogie Down. Who cares about rings, bro? That's facts. That's facts. And then here's the thing. Like, yes, Chief KT. Mahomes is making bank off the field. That's fine, as he should. But I mean, Baker Mayfield was making money off the field. Like, so the QB money ain't really that long off the field. If Baker Mayfield can have a nationwide, promo run, then, how much bread is there really? I'm deaf reaching about Lamar. How am I about Mahomes talking about Lamar? Then who's he talking about? Who is he talking about? He literally says about every QB. He has said about every QB he does business the right way. He has said every QB that, well, I mean, if you look at it, then I guess he's true because every QB followed his path except for Deshaun Watson. Was he talking about Watson? Because Watson did not do business like Mahomes. He broke the bank with the fully guaranteed. So if it's not Lamar, was it Deshaun? Or maybe was it Kirk Cousins? Because Kirk Cousins did not do business like Patrick Mahomes. He got fully guaranteed money. Boogie down. Mahomes knows Lamar Jackson is the only other player or QB in the NFL that can rival him in star power. I mean, that's a really strong point. That's a really strong point. I mean, these two are the QBs. You can maybe put in, now that he's here where I'm at in New York, or at least the tri-state area, you could throw in Aaron Rodgers. I wouldn't. Some people would throw in Josh Allen. I wouldn't. I think it truly is, when you talk about the top two popular, most notable, name-worthy, face recognition QBs in the game, I think you're looking at them right here in this picture. Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. So that's kind of where we're at with it, but I'm here for it. But I think ultimately, I'll let Chief get it off. Let's see. Yes, watching interviews when he's asked about QBs, he says the same thing. He's not going to disrespect any QB. So then here's the thing then, right? If I'm to believe that, there's a better way to say, I like how he went about his business. there's a better way to say that than he does his business the right way. Because what that happens is, as someone who is, who is a journalist, that to me means, oh, so then you think somebody does business the wrong way. That's how my brain works when I'm interviewing someone. If he gives me that answer, if I ask him the question about, hey, so what do you think about the Jalen Hurts deal? Oh, I'm so happy for him. Great deal for him, his family. Like, we know the narrative these guys are going to say. But to offer up, he plays the game the right way. He does his business the right way. Like, well, the curiosity in my brain goes, well, then who doesn't play the game the right way? Who doesn't do their business the right way? That's what I want to know. I know you're going to give me basically, word salad on Jalen Hurts, but who that person you talking about? I mean, you telling me, oh, well, this guy does things the right way. Because if you tell me someone does things the right way, then you must also believe someone else does things the wrong way. So, call it what it is. If he says that for every single person, then all right. I don't think he's saying it like that, honestly. No, I'm rocking with you. I'm not saying you're wrong here. I'm just saying, as someone that has interviewed players and athletes, like, if I'm interviewing Mahomes about Jalen Hurts and he offers up Hurts does his business the right way, whether off the record, after the interview is done or whatever, I'll let him get his little talking points off. But at some point, I'm going to spin the block and be like, hey, so about that does business the right thing, who doesn't do their business the right way? Because I would want to know that. Because Richard Sherman said, you did your business the wrong way, Patrick Mahomes. He, like I felt, after Kirk Cousins and Deshaun Watson got fully, well, let's wait on Deshaun Watson. After Kirk Cousins got the fully guaranteed money, now I'll come off the screen here. After Kirk Cousins got fully guaranteed money, Mahomes was the next QB up to get the bag. And he could have followed right after Kirk Cousins and got fully guaranteed money. He could have got Deshaun Watson money before Deshaun Watson. Because again, this was after the first Super Bowl MVP and first regular season MVP. He could have got the 230 fully guaranteed from the Chiefs right after Kirk Cousins got his fully guaranteed deal with the Vikings, right? He could have did that. But he took a more traditional approach and a more old school approach and just a long ass deal for no reason. Now, 3 years later, he wants to rip that deal up. Why do you think that is? Because he realizes it wasn't that great of a deal in the first place. You don't renegotiate this fast. If you sign away 10 years of your life and 3 years in, you're like, hey, wait a minute. I'm not liking how everyone else is getting more higher average salary than me, more signing bonus money than me, more total guarantee money than me, and they're getting way more money in the first 3 years of their deal than me. I don't like that. Well, didn't your agent know that? He didn't know that was going to set the market? Why wouldn't he tell you those are the metrics that matter, not just the big balloon 10 years, 450 million, not that. What really matters is total guarantees, average salary per year, and signing bonus money, and 3-year cash flow. Why didn't your agent know that? Now, 3 years in, you're like, wait a minute, Kyler Murray? Nah. Jalen Hurts? Love him? Nah. Lamar? Nah. Come on, man. Bad deal. Bad deal. Mahomes is just a nice dude for real. He knows what he could did, but he don't want to push it. But see, Chief, that's my problem right there. Why? Because it's not just about him. And I'll come off the screen again because I have to get that talking point. I'll put your comment back up because it's a good point. That right here is the problem. Let me see. Can I get to it? Yeah. This part right here, he didn't want to push it. That's the problem. It's not about him. When you're an employee, and let's keep it a buck. Mahomes is an employee. because Clark Hunt went out there and said that man is underpaid. So when your owner is telling you you're underpaid, you are for sure an employee, right? So he's an employee. He plays and works at a place that has a set amount of value placed upon it. It's up to him to do what's best for him, his family, all the usual nonsense, right? But also for the betterment of those coming behind him. Pause. He didn't do that. 10 years? 10 years. You're 25 years old. 10 years? You can't do that, bruh. That's not, no one else has come close to that. Josh Allen did 6 years. That's it. That's the closest. No one else is signing away 10 years. No one else. If anything, that was setting the market back. Because he could have gotten fully guaranteed right after Kirk Cousins, but instead he did the complete opposite. A back-laden deal at 25 when you're him. Not when you're like Jalen Hurts had to take that deal. He's a second-round pick. He doesn't have the leverage. He had to take a traditional contract. Kyler Murray had leverage to getting his extension a year before he was supposed to. Mahomes had the best leverage of all. I just won a Super Bowl and a regular season MVP and a Super Bowl MVP. And I'm going to sign a 10-year deal? Man, couldn't be me. Nobody that's in business, that's legitimately in business, not just in the business of Patrick Mahomes, but just the business of we're trying to help these players. Like the NFLPA had to be furious with that deal. Furious with that deal. Because a 10-year deal for someone so young and so good, and it's still not fully guaranteed. If it was fully guaranteed 10 years, $450 million, salute. Salute, bow down, all of that. But once you see he's got to wait till he's in his 30s to get the bulk of it, it's $450 million and only 141 was totally guaranteed? Come on, man. Like, I understand he's loyal. That's cool, bro. That's cool, bro. Like, that's loyal. That's loyal to a fan base, and I understand you're a Chiefs guy, so I get it. That's great news for you, right? Like, if he does the Tom Brady thing and always give team-friendly contracts, that's great. I mean, his pops did play in MLB, so maybe he feels we good anyway. I don't need to kill him at the bank every time. Hey, that's cool, but that's going to hurt other guys behind you. Because if he would have pushed the agenda and pushed not just for himself, but for the betterment of the position after him, when it was his turn the first time, imagine the money these guys could be getting now. If he would have pushed, let's say he would have got that Deshaun Watson money 3 years ago, imagine the numbers we will be seeing now. And again, as fans, we're taught to always be pro-management because we're a fan of the name of the team, not the name on the back of the jersey, all that nonsense, right? But when you look at it from a financial perspective, we know these guys got it. The NFL is trying to get the $27 billion in revenue. They can't pay someone $450 million guaranteed. They can't. They just don't got it. It's so hard for me to believe. It's hard for me to believe. You think that's what it is for? I mean, if it's all about being loyal, then cool to him, man. If it's about being loyal and maybe the Mahomes family because of his pops, him being a pitcher for hella long, and he was here as a Met. Shout out to Southside Jamaica, Queens. If that's what it is, then cool. Unfortunately, he's hurting others at his position by doing that. So, that's the part to me where it's like, that's cool if you feel that way. But unfortunately, you're putting others in a bad spot after you. Like, He should have been getting the Deshaun Watson money before Deshaun Watson. He should have been getting the Aaron Rodgers money before him. He should have had the Kirk Cousins structure. He had it, and he tricked it off. So, I understand if Mahomes is really on that type of time, that's dope for him. But when you really look at this deal long-term is not that great. Because let's take it at its apex. $52 million, right? $52 million in year 2031 at the age of 36. So let me get this back up here for y'all for the Zoom. 2031 at 36 years old. 38 will be the base salary. $13 million for a roster bonus, and then another workout bonus. So $52 million, right? $52 mil. That's at the age of 36. Why does he have to wait to 36 to get 52 mil when with Lamar Jackson's getting that this year, in theory? He's got to wait till 2031 to average what Lamar Jackson's going to average right now. And that's why he wants to rip it up. This number right here is why he wants to rip it up. $52.5 million when Lamar is averaging that in 2023. 2023, someone is going to average $52 million a year. He's got to wait till 2031 to average $52 million a year. Herein lies the problem, Chief. It's right here, Chief KT. It's right here, bruh. Why does Patrick Mahomes have to wait till 2031 to average what Lamar Jackson's getting right now? Why? When he's better than Lamar Jackson, when he's better than Jalen Hurts, right? Come on, man. I don't care about people's money, and I'm not really pocket watching in per se. But ultimately, when you look at it, when we're talking about the future of this league, and again, the Browns, let me see, I'll pull this up because the Browns definitely restructured Deshaun Watson's contract. Boom. March of 2023. Browns restructured contract of QB Deshaun Watson ahead of free agency. This move frees up money the Browns will now have to spend. Everyone said, no, this contract's going to break the salary cap, can't improve your team. In literally 1 year, the Browns able to restructure this contract. So now tell me again how giving a quarterback, especially the caliber of Patrick Mahomes, fully guaranteed money is going to be problematic for the Chiefs long term when the Browns could do it. Come on, man. Like, make it make sense. Make it make sense, man. Let's see. What else can we get into here? I think we'll leave on that note. I think we'll tap out on that note, man, because the minute that news came through, I said, I know what the live stream going to be about today. So, and I got some of the usual people to pull up. Corey pulled up, salute to him. Thomas pulled up. Even got Boogie down to spin the block and pull up. Salute to all y'all. Chief, thank you for pulling up. And don't be a stranger here. We talk hella shit. And, I'll let you get your points off. And it's a safe space for everybody here. So, salute to you for pulling up, because I was definitely going to go back to the vid and be like, yo, you good? Like, what's good? But salute to you for pulling up. Let's see. I'll check the timeline one last time to make sure we didn't miss anything. Let's see. Remember we had this story yesterday about Dan Orlovsky said that he thinks Justin Fields could be an MVP candidate. Well, now we have people pushing back against that report and doubling down. NFL team officials around the league are, quote, skeptical that Bears QB Justin Fields can be a successful pocket passer. However, a member of the Bears organization told Jeremy Fowler, ESPN, 4-letter network, that Fields is one of the few NFL players that can, quote, elevate an entire team, end quote. Here's the thing with this comment. Right there. Pocket passer. No one is looking for Justin Fields to be a pocket passer. No one. No one. And the Bears would be silly after seeing what they saw him do last year, just because they got him improvements in terms of DJ Moore and improving the offensive line, that now all of a sudden we're going to make him now a pocket passer. It would be a travesty of all travesties if the Bears changed their offense around to where Justin Fields did not be able to take advantage of his legs. So again, I think this is just, again, you have to really watch the words that these people talk about and the words that these people use, because they'll tell you about themselves in their language. So the fact that they use pocket passer tells me that, yeah, but who wants Justin Fields to be a pocket passer? Did you see what he did last year? Did you see him as a thrower? Like, do I need to pull up the numbers on Justin Fields? And I swore I was going to get up out of here, but, you know, as a reformed Bear fan, because I am a fan of no team anymore, but just off what he did last year alone, like, you cannot tell me. Let's see, where is he? Justin Fields. There he is. Okay, that took way too long. Football Reference didn't want to pull him up. All right, so this is just passing, right? This is just passing. 17 touchdowns to 11 picks. QBR, a little low. QB rating, respectable. You would like your QB to be at least a 90 in terms of QB rating and close to 60 with the QBR. So you see him just below the average of a really good starting quarterback, right? But again, remember the lack of help and the lack of weapons he had around him with a makeshift offensive line as well. So take that into account. But the main part here is the rushing. 1,100 yards rushing. Who gives a shit if you don't think he's going to be a successful pocket passer? Who gives a shit? This man could run for over 1,100 yards, including 8 touchdowns. Remember, he had a couple long TD runs called back off of penalties last year. And you're telling me about some goddamn, oh, he's going to be a successful pocket passer? Who gives a shit? No one cares, bruh. This dude is dynamic. He's electric. And they gave him some weapons. DJ Moore to go with Chase Claypool, with Darnell Mooney off of injury. They got, St. Brown's brother on the roster as well. Like, they got some dudes. They took a guy in the draft that they're high on. Cole Kmet at tight end. They got a bunch of running backs. Like, the Bears offense, low-key, fantasy-wise, you may want to stock up on some Bears. And that's normally something you never say in fantasy. But we'll come off the screen here. Let me make sure if there's anything else I could riff on real quick. If not, then we'll call it a night. The McAfee stuff, I'm not really going to touch on that. McAfee turning down a bag, leaving his $120 million deal from FanDuel to potentially go to the four-letter network. If you're leaving $120 million, what's the bag you need to turn down or to leave? I guess I'll show. Let me make sure I pause it because there's some copyright shit. We'll go here with it. If he's going to leave $120 million, what's going to be the bag at the four-letter network? If you're leaving a $120 million deal, how much more money would you need to get? Or is it just, you just want to build your brand? Would you be willing to walk away from $120 million just for a bigger audience? Because ESPN, the four-letter network, inherently has a bigger audience by default. So are you willing to walk away from a 9-figure deal for an 8-figure deal, but a bigger reach? I think I'll leave y'all on that note. Y'all let me know live in the chat or on the replay in the comments if you will walk away from a 9-figure deal that you built independently for an 8-figure deal per year with a bigger reach, bigger distribution. So I will bid y'all adieu. I appreciate y'all for pulling up. As always, this has always been a fun stream for me. We always do a lot of good NFL stuff, mixed in some NBA because it is playoff time. But I appreciate all those who pulled up, contributed in the chat. I'll make sure this is up on the replay. Probably going to pull a clip or two especially from the Mahomes stuff. So I will catch y'all tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, for another edition of Timeline T. I am your host, the Sam D. Catch y'all tomorrow. Salute.